Hello everyone. So this is the dashboard detail page. In the dashboard detail page, you have visibility between the previous month and the current month and how every single book format and title is performing for that time period. So at the top, you have the connected platforms. So if you click on them, you can find any connected platforms, any platforms that you want to synchronize. So this is just basically the hub where you have everything that you want to synchronize or anything that is out of sync. You have at the top the gross royalties and the net after any spending. You can click the switch button to switch them around and have the net as the big number and the gross as a small number, depending on preference. You have a button to toggle widgets, which means every widget you have on this page, you can hide it or show it depending on what you want. You can add filters to this page. For example, if you want to see a specific title, you want to see a specific series, a specific pen name, a specific country, you can apply that filter. And you can add your own custom widgets. For example, if you have a new release, you can add a custom name to the filter. You can select the time period. So it's between last month and this month. So you can do up to 2 months in this page. You can select the titles that you want or a specific title, and you can say, okay, I want to track the spending, for example, and then you can add that widget and it will appear across the other widgets here. Now, you can rearrange widgets by clicking the 6 dots and move them around. You have the info button on most of the widgets to see what each widget is and explains how the calculations are done. Any number that has a dotted underline, as you can see right here, will show you a popover, a tooltip basically, that explains how the calculation is derived so that you know how each number is made up. You can toggle to show unit royalties, which means that you're not only going to see that you had 121 audiobooks, but you also see how much they contributed in how many royalties you got from those audiobooks, for example. And you can hide that if you don't want to see it. Now, you have a few widgets you can explore, and you can see, for example, an estimated projection that uses a complicated calculation behind the scenes that uses a trend of your account, and it says, for example, this month the estimated projection will be 934, which this much spending, and your net will be this much. You have a widget for pre-orders if you have any pre-orders, and it will list the previous and the future pre-orders here. You can download that. You have organic versus inorganic orders. So any orders that come from Amazon ads, for example, versus the total orders for your account from the different retailers that you added to Publisher Champ, will show the different percentages here. And now you have the graphs that basically you have a list of graphs that you want to see. By default is the spending versus total royalties, where you can see in purple the royalties, in red/pink the spending, anything that goes over the royalties. So for example, as you can see right here, you have 2 colors. You have the light pink at the top. It means that the spending is exceeding the royalties, which is the purple behind it. If you have this bar where the purple is above the dark pink, it means that all this bar is purple and there is the pink one here. So for example, if I hide the spending, you see this is the whole royalties. But if I add the spending back, you see it's added here. The other way around here, you have the spending exceeding royalties. So if I hide that, you see here is only spending. And then when I add it, it just adds the royalties behind it. But because royalties are lower than the spending, they make this bar a bit more dark, basically a bit darker. You can see basically, depending on the selection, the different metrics. You can click on a bar here on the line, and it will pin the tooltip so you can scroll and see all the details if you have many details, for example. Now you can switch between daily and weekly view. You can switch between line and bar view. If I set it back to daily, line and bar, you can see that. You can compare weekdays. So for example, if you want to see only the Mondays, you can do, and you can see Monday, how each one is performing. I will clear that to show everything. You can now set goals, which is a new feature we released. So for example, I can put a little blue line, and I want a goal of gross royalties of $150. So if I save that, you see the bar there. Okay, in this case, I don't have that much, and it's way higher. Let me just set a bit lower. Let me just set $40, which is gonna make more sense here. So if I had a $40 bar, you can see there is a goal now. And as you can see in the in the tooltip now for the graph, it says your goal is 40 a day. You've done 38, so you are 97% there. You haven't achieved the goal yet, but you are there. So for example, a day that is achieved, you can see achieved by 168%. And you can set different goals for different graphs. So if I go books sold, I can set a different goal, which is the total units sold. I can set a different color, and it will save everything so the next time that you visit it, it is there. The same applies on both graphs. And at the very bottom, you have the top earners. Yesterday's top earners, today's top earners. So if in this account, you should have some data for yesterday. So you can see yesterday breaks it down by paperbacks, ebooks, ad orders, gross royalties, spending, and net. And it orders them based on the net royalties. For books that are linked to Author Central, the data for ratings and BSRs are being pulled. And you have a way of only showing the top 1, top 2, up to top 20 and all books, depending on what you want to see. Some people want to see only the top 3 or the top 2. For example, if I just go top 2, it will just show only the 2 books right there. So if I go yesterday's top earners with top 2, only 2. It's not going to show all of them. Now, you also have a way of showing, it shows by default any books that made any money, but you also want to see, maybe want to see any books that only spent money if you are heavily advertising something. So I can say show 0 earners too. So basically, if I had books that only had spending but no royalties, they would appear here. So this is, in a nutshell, the dashboard page. The one final thing is that for people that are ahead, let's say Australia or somewhere that is the day switches faster than the Amazon servers, for example, which are in Los Angeles, you can toggle here to compare previous day with this day, where the percentages are calculated, and you can switch it to, instead of showing yesterday to today, so that when the day switches, all your data skewed, you can toggle it to show 2 days ago versus yesterday. So as you can see here, the calculations are now from 2 days ago, the 16th of August, versus the 17th of August rather than 17th to 18th. So you can set that, and you know that these percentage calculations here make sense because they are used the 2 days ago versus 1 day ago rather than being skewed by today, which, as you can see today, there are no sales yet. So everything is down. Everything is 0% or negative 100% because you had different calculations there. So this is the best one here. So yeah, thank you, and we'll see you on the next tutorial.